Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 29th, and right now we are looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see some of the shower activity wrapping up as we go through the day today. Some light rain still out there across portions of eastern Oregon, Idaho. But if you look off to our south and west, you can see the next system gearing up. It's going to be bringing a low pressure system off our coastline for the next few days. Thunderstorm potential, rounds of precipitation, and a little bit of gusty wind action here for the coastline. We'll take a look at that in some detail. We'll take a look at when the next round of nice weather may be coming for the Pacific Northwest as well. So, looking at this troughing out over the region, this is our storm system coming up here. It is under development off the coast of California, and that will be swinging up as we go through the day tomorrow. So, taking a look at things right now, Quilliute, Vancouver Island, Southwest BC getting some light rain. Oregon, Idaho here. Looks like Boise might start to rain here anytime. A little bit of light snow flying there for John Day. Looks like it's about 33 degrees with the light snow. Spokane 44. Portland at 47 right now. Pretty chilly there at Mullen Pass at 30 degrees. And if you want to help support the channel, check out the Patreon page. I'm going to be posting all my updates in between my daily weather briefings on Patreon. I may link them to Blue Sky or X on occasion, but all my work will be updated here. It's a little bit more professional. It gives people an area where you can support the channel if you so desire. And some of these showers moving across a SeaTac there yesterday were pretty dynamic. The rainbow activity, just huge double rainbows. It was pretty crazy for a while. And I was filming planes flying in and around that, wondering if there was going to be some lightning strike activity, but it did not occur. And you can see the SeaTac tower right there. But yeah, beautiful skies yesterday. And one more look at that severe weather threat that we had a few days ago. So we did have some things in place for severe storms, but likely the root cause was some places were dealing with some limited instability there. And the moisture was probably not as deep as what was progged in some of the weather models as well. But just a reminder here, when you get a 2% chance of tornadoes, that's a 98% chance it's not going to happen. And the hail and whatnot, and some of the wording on some of the media going on was just really outlandish. And I know a lot of people had a bunch of tornadoes and a bunch of pictures and they were showing, and they made it sound like there was going to be some huge widespread hail event that just rolls across the region. But even in the worst case scenario, those storms were going to be very isolated, and the big hail would have been extremely isolated. 99.9% of people would not have seen that gigantic hail, even if all these conditions came into play. So it's very important to understand probabilistic forecasts. 15% chance of hail means 85% chance that it is not going to happen here. So that's why you come and visit this page. You can be a little bit more up to date on the probabilities and what that exactly means, because this happens all the time in Tornado Alley. People are under hail, tornado, severe wind watches and warnings, and they do not occur. The gradients still have to all come together, and then you have to be underneath one of those storms moving across the region. So anyway, nice stuff here from the National Weather Service Seattle. And if you want your own weather station, build its own forecast for you, click on the link down below. It's got a lightning detection system. You can see the UV out there peeking through the clouds this morning as well. These communicate wirely. This sits in your house and you put that outside. You can click on that if you want one. So taking a look here at lightning yesterday, Eastern Oregon, Eastern Washington, Idaho did get a few strikes. And you can see Southwest BC, a strike or two as well. And we're going to have some additional thunderstorm activity here over the next couple of days. But first things first, daily 2-meter max temperatures for today. You can see things, a little bit on the chilly side here, but we may clear out a little bit as we go through the day today. Excuse me, in advance of the next storm system coming in on the day tomorrow. And then we look at Sunday and the initial stages of tomorrow. Again, we might warm up fairly nicely across Southwest BC and portions Western Washington, Eastern Washington before those clouds and precipitation move from south to north. Then we go Monday, Tuesday. The slow is going to be pinwheeling off our coastline here, keeping our temperature suppressed across the region. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we start to bounce back though. And some of the models are showing ridging coming as we go towards the end of next week and on in through the weekend. And you can see that reflected in some of the national blend of model temperatures here. Look at that Sunday. That would be very nice there. Sunday, April 6th. And then there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Who knows what's going to happen after that. Day 1 thunderstorm outlook. It does include Boise and Butte, Montana there. But day 2, you can see as this storm system comes up and across the region, Portland, Eugene, Medford, just south of Seattle, Pendleton is included, and Boise yet again. It's going to be a recurring theme here over the next couple of days. I'll show you more on that here in a moment as far as thunderstorm potential is concerned. So here we're looking at the artificial intelligence. There goes our storm system that's coming in tomorrow. That's going to be pinwheeling that low off our coastline for a few days and finally kicking through there as we go on in through the day. Wednesday, probably still some showers on Wednesday, but you notice the ridge building offshore, and that wants to dominate our weather for a little bit here as we go on potentially on in through next weekend. I'll gladly take it here. I love the nice early spring, nice weather and the warmer conditions here. You can see the trough out over the Pacific Ocean. Cooler conditions, clouds, precipitation with the trough, sinking air, warmer conditions, much less clouds there when you're underneath one of these ridges. But then you can see that trough wants to swing through, and then maybe another ridge builds after that. Kind of typical springtime back and forth action there. Now, if we take a look at the European ensemble mean, so you can see a good agreement with the trough initially moving through, but then it wants to kick one more low at us here as we go through Thursday. Kind of a chilly upper level low around. That would be interesting, but that could produce some nice mountain snowfall toward the end of next week as well. And then the ridge starts to build on our offshore waters after that. So it may still be in time to bring a nice following weekend. So looking at composite reflectivity, this is wrapping up as we're going through the day to day. Then you can see the precipitation rolling up and across the, let me go back here really quick there. There's still some showers there across western Washington developing as we go through the afternoon hours. But we go on in through tomorrow morning. You see the precipitation coming from south to north across western Oregon. So this is what it may allow some areas to be dealing with a fairly nice day, at least in the morning and some of the early afternoon hours across western Washington and southwest BC, for that precipitation rolls up across tomorrow evening. And you can see some of this instability behind that frontal system. These could be kicking off lightning. Watch out for that as we go through the day tomorrow. We'll check that out one more time tomorrow as well. And then you can see the continued shower activity as the colder air aloft comes rolling into the Pacific Northwest. Low pinwheeling off our coastline there. So yeah, we got some active weather over the next few days, no doubt. And if we take a look at that at 700 millibars, here goes our system on Sunday. Again, there's the frontal system there, and look at the cold air arrive behind that. You can really see that. If you're a visual learner, you like to see that there at 10,000 feet, that very cold air, and the low pressure center spinning off our coastline there, spilling that cold air into the Pacific Northwest. And same thing here at 500 millibars or 18,000 feet. Watch the slug of cold air there move in as we go on in through later on Sunday and on in through the day Monday. Some pretty chilly air aloft, maybe kicking off some thunderstorms. If we look at sea level pressure, put that into motion here, and you'll see this low develop off our coastline again as we go through the day on Sunday. Could bring some gusty conditions for some of the coastal areas. I'll show you the winds here in a moment, but you see that low is going to be with us all the way on in through the day Monday here as well before it starts to finally fill and weaken as we go through the day Monday and on in through Tuesday. That'll start to kick off to the east. Now, if we take a look at 80-meter wind speed, so here we go on the day today. We're kind of relaxing winds here for the most part as we go through the day today. Notice the westerly winds across the east slopes of the Cascades. That flips up pretty quickly, and you can see the east winds develop across the Cascades of Washington, Oregon, some offshore flow in advance of this next system that's going to be riding up the California-Oregon coastline. And some areas like the Gorge and the Stampede Gap may get temporarily windy as we go through the day tomorrow. Look at that. There's Mount Rainier. You can kind of see it, the terrain feature blocking some of that wind. But yeah, we're getting some of the gusty easterly winds, and nothing too major. It's not going to be damaging winds or anything like that, but it could bring a sneaky, fairly warm day for, again, some of the western Washington and southwest BC locations. And then you see some of the gusty winds also. I'm going to back that up, and you can see as we go through the day tomorrow, some of those gusty winds coming up the Oregon coast, the Washington coast through tomorrow night, northwest interior, and then we scroll on into the day Monday. Low is still pinwheeling, some gusty conditions showing up there as well. And I don't know, some gusty winds showing up for eastern Oregon there as we go through the day on Monday. It might be thunderstorm activity associated with that as well. Now, if we take a look at the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh, we'll scroll through the day to day. Not too much to speak of. Again, you could get a couple of thunderstorms with that activity on through Idaho and Montana. But as we go through Sunday, you can see the HRRR is also showing some of that thunderstorm activity right up across western Oregon into western Washington and potentially into portions of eastern Oregon as well. So that would be about Monday morning. But you can see that low is going to be pinwheeling some of that activity back across the area. So total snow 10-to-1 ratio. This is the European model, and I want to put this into motion because you can see with that low off the coastline, it's kind of initially favoring portions of Oregon, not too much for Washington And this is the European that brought that secondary lobe as well. So if we scroll off in towards next week, you can see we do end up getting some decent amounts across central and southern Oregon Cascades, some of the Siskiyous as well, Blue Mountains out there. But then if we get that upper level low, like what the European is saying, you can see some of the snowfall amounts across BC and the Cascades of Washington as well, picking up some decent amounts as we go on in towards the end of next week before things would start to warm up after that. Now, if you are going in the backcountry here, whenever that may be, check out avalanche.org. Check before you go, snowshoers, snowmobilers, hikers, campers, whatever you're doing out there. So, yeah, there's a lot of good information in there. And a 15-day precipitation anomaly, you can kind of see we're dealing with some ridges out there, so we may be drying things out a bit. And, I do enjoy the spring nice weather here, so I know a lot of people do. So, yeah, that's kind of a nice signal. There's the 6 to 10 day, kind of a mixed bag. There's the 6 to 10 day precipitation as well. 8 to 14 day got mostly near normal. And then you can kind of see, like I mentioned yesterday, they're probably backing off on the above normal signal there. And indeed, they have April 5th through 11th. And on the updated drought monitor, they erased some of the extreme and severe drought across portions of western Oregon. Looks like Wyoming improved as well. Look at that, drought-free across Oregon. Not even any any abnormally dry as well. In some portions of western Washington as well, got some of the abnormally dry out of there also. But yeah, anyway, hope you guys are liking the videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.